About a year ago, Disney blew up the Star Wars galaxy. Boom! Like that. Before the change, Star Wars stories used to be ranked in tiers. The movies and Clone Wars had storytelling supremacy, and then came the supplemental books, comics, and TV shows, collectively called the Expanded Universe. Now, almost everything old outside the movies and Clone Wars has been rebranded a legend, and no longer part of the Star Wars continuity. Everything created after the change under Disney's management is Star Wars canon, right up there with the films.
I got a bad feeling about this.
As a bona fide Star Wars nerd with a shrink-wrapped copy of the Story of Star Wars 8-track to prove it, I was deeply concerned. I grew up in the era between the original trilogy and the prequels, the golden age of the Star Wars novels and supplemental sources. Losing them to a new, empty galaxy seemed a dubious prospect at the best.
There's nothing for me here now.
But I've had time to mellow in my old age, and I've decided the Star Wars Galaxy's semi-reboot is a good thing.
You have your moments. Not many of them, but you do have them.
Frankly, Star Wars had gotten crowded, mostly by junk. I mean, there was the excellent Thrawn cycle and Knights of the Old Republic, but there's a lot of material in the old EU canon that was simply bad. Remember that one time when somebody dropped a moon on Chewbacca? Or there was that Ewok Jedi, or when IG-88 became the Death Star? That was really dumb. Blowing up the old Star Wars makes room for new and potentially better stories that all fit together, something the EU never really pulled off. And if the cadre of talented authors who are building the new continuity handle it right, there's room to build a canon made of selectively constructed, high-quality narrative set across 1,000 generations of Jedi, Sith, and wretched hives of scum and villainy. Frankly, the stories that have populated that universe thus far have alternated between entertaining and underwhelming. Lords of the Sith, Twilight Company, and Dark Disciple were solid, but none of them contributed to anything really significant to the overall story of Star Wars. Aftermath was a huge letdown, just a big teaser. Rebels is entertaining, but at heart, it's a Saturday morning kids show. A good one to be sure, but rarely anything to get too excited about. Now, the comics are quality and a lot of fun, but they're mostly character side stories. They're cool and all, but I want a narrative that captures the scale and the grandeur of a galaxy at war. What I'm waiting for is something substantial. The shadow of The Force Awakens seems to be looming over everything, and I get the impression that there's a fear of commitment to do anything too big outside of the new film. Now, that's a problem. Creating compelling drama and adventure requires some degree of risk. At some point, the gloves have to come off. We really need a great new bad guy or two. Star Wars thrives on the threat of confronting insidious evil. We need more of our favorite heroes interacting in the same room. The comics are a good start, but they tend to split these guys up. Most importantly, we need adventures laden with consequence, high-stakes showdowns between good and evil that make us care and have great characterization and clever thematic construction. We need a better Star Wars.